So I just wanted to shoot a quick little video here. We got this 241C here. We got the tuned intake, the tuned Bush King exhaust, some cylinder porting, some flow porting to the cases and the cylinder. No machine work. This has got 34,000 squish. You know, if I took the base gasket out and put a thinner base gasket and brought it down to 30, would it run a little better? Yeah, but 34 thousandths to 30, I think a human hair is 3 thousandths. So we got the uni filter on here, oiled foam filter, custom machined intake, a little bit of work to the carburetor, a little bit of work to the crankcase, flow ported, and then on this side here we got the Bush King muffler. Let me fire this up here. You know, I hear a lot of stuff. Guys are talking. I had one guy actually say, "Well, you've never actually ran a ported saw because it's not machined." Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, you can see the video on that guy. I called him out if you want to. I'm not going to mention his name because, you know, whatever. But let's have a gander. We'll have a listen. So this thing, she's ready to slay wood. I do have to take the decompression out. I always plug those. I don't know how much of a difference. I've heard people say it's 2% different or whatever, but the main reason I take these out is because they leak. Eventually they leak a little bit, and it's so much easier to plug them and then you're good. I mean, this 40cc saw, there's nothing to it. 42cc, yeah, 42cc, there's nothing to it. And, you know, it's real easy to start, too. That's another thing, you know, you get into the machine argument. You know, oh, it's got to be machined to be a ported saw. Well, I'm calling bullshit. A guy takes one of these. I mean, I got a guy I built a 660 for. 066. 461. Now, these guys are up in a tree. You know, you got a high compression motor, and it's one thing when you're standing on the ground, you're holding it, you got your foot on the pad, and you're pulling it, but when you're up in a tree, you don't want something, you know, you want something that's going to fire over, you know, like this. See? She's on. Watch. Oh, sing to me, baby. Barely even a pull. You know, you're hanging off a tree or whatever, you know, but anyways, a buddy of mine down the street come over with his MS-250, and he said, "Fabes, can you do something with this chain?" Now, he had a 325 chain, and he had a file kit, so I sharpened it for him. I brought it back to his house. He says, "Well, what do I owe you for it?" I says, "Well, why don't you take a walk down here? We'll try it out in the logs." I says, you know, I sharpened it to the stock specifications, rakers, but why don't we try it? So he tried it out. He said, "Oh yeah, it's probably like the best it's ever cut." So I says, "Mario, you know, you got a minute?" "Oh yeah, I brought a couple beers." So he's back there having a beer. I go back and I grab this. I say, "Here, run this." He goes, "Well, what's this?" I go, This is a 241C. You got an MS-250. I think your 250's 45 cc's. This one's 42. He goes, "Oh, this one's smaller." So he picks it up. He goes, "What's this?" He's asking me all these questions and whatnot. And I says, "Well, you want to make a cut with it?" He goes, "Well, yeah, sure. I'll make a cut with it." He goes, "Well, you know, mine's a couple cc's bigger." You know, and I'm smiling to myself. I says, "Okay." I think he was blowing through this piece of wood in about 9 or 10 seconds. I fired this up for him, warmed it up, you know, made sure that the oil was flowing like you normally do. She's ready to cut. And I think this was blowing through in like 4.5, 5 seconds. So it was actually, in this state of tune, was over twice as fast as his MS-250, which he led him to believe. He says, "Well, what can I do to make my saw a little better?" And I says, "Well, it's a different engine design. I says, I could do some intake work. We could do the Bush King muffler, and we'll switch you over to Pico chain. And he says, well, you know, what's it going to cost? I says, well, I got a bar and chain. I says, you're going to have to buy the sprocket, and, you know, you're a buddy of mine. I'll give you a deal. I mean, he's cost like $20. The muffler mod's this. I says, you know, so I got another customer on the paper route, but he couldn't believe, you know, that this thing was over twice as fast. And a lot of guys, you know, they poo-poo these 241s or whatever, but I mean, these things are light. I don't know what they weigh, you know, 9-10 pounds, but to me, it's nothing. And these are great for you know, you drop a tree, and you got two guys running both of these, and they're doing the tops, and then you're back there with your 70 or 90 cc saw, depending on how big. I mean, you destroy the tree. You just decimate it. People are amazed how fast these things eat, you know. And they use very little fuel. Very little fuel. But like I said, there's a lot of guys yapping. It's got to be machined. It's got to be the squish band has to be cut. It's got to be machined. Hey, listen, man. You build your saw whatever way you want. I just, you know, gave you an audio version of how this thing sounds. And this thing rips. It's got torque. I mean, you can lean on this. It's got a little dog. I mean, this thing, push on it, she'll blow through anything. Hardwood, whatever. With this Pico chain on here, forget about it.